and welcome to this first episode of Let's Talk AI. Today we're with Alan Kashkash. So maybe Alan, you can present yourself who you are in a few sentences.
Sure. Hey, Thomas. So I'm Alan. I'm CEO at Linguido, AI startup, and machine learning engineer at Reckitt. Reckitt, which is a mother company of brands like Durex, Finish, or Airwick.
I mean, you can share a little bit more of your background, and I would also like to hear more about what is Linguido.
Absolutely, absolutely. So as of my background, well, I started actually in business, not in AI,
All
because
right.
initially my vision for life was to work in my family business, and
Hmm.
at the time I was running a few ventures there. In the meanwhile, I also had my freelance job as English teacher,
Yes.
and then finally machine learning came through.
All right.
So I think I started like everyone, like supervised learning. Then you go to deep learning, but then NLP, natural language processing, with their transformer models and famous GPT-3 came in.
I understand. And a quick question: why did you switch from business to being a machine learning engineer and having your own startup about AI?
So it all has started from one article actually.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, there is a famous blogger, Wait But Why. I think he's
Okay.
on TED Talks. He has one of the most famous talks. He had an article about AI, like that it's gonna be one of the biggest things of our lifetimes. And since the moment I read it, and that was like damn long, but I read it all. I read it all, and that was the moment then when I realized that this is something that's gonna be big, and I want to be a part of these changes. Like I want
Okay.
to
So
be among people who understand these things.
you started AI from scratch. Like you didn't had any background of engineering, coding, none of that, and you
No, no,
started
no.
on your own. Okay.
Yeah,
Cool.
yeah.
And you.
My bachelor was in finance. Like then, for my masters, I went to study big data. But like I
Mhm.
started as a business guy.
That's cool. And so you said so Linguido is an app. So you shared a bit. Can you share a bit more about the visions of Linguido and maybe OpenAI, like kind of introducing OpenAI?
Absolutely, absolutely. So let's start from Linguido because that's the
Yeah.
thing I'm most proud of. So Linguido is first in the world AI e-learning platform where you can
All right.
automatically generate materials for language learning. We use GPT-3, we use a bunch of other transformer models, uh, and we use them to like combine the power of AI with teachers to create new set of materials that will further personalize the learning experiences of learners.
Okay.
And we have a very bold mission here. We want to help teachers find their own place in the digital world. As we could see, like when pandemic started, that was a mess. That was a
Hmm.
mess because imagine like you have lessons. You're an English teacher. You have lessons, and you teach
Yeah.
offline for 20 years, and then at one certain moment you have to transition from everything you've been doing so far to online.
Yeah.
And at that time, that was a mess. And I remember helping teachers to like get to know some tools, like showing them the tools I was using when I was teaching online, helping them understand the internet, like how to use all the stuff
Yeah.
to conduct lessons. And that was also the moment when we were working on an app for language learners. But then when we got an access to GPT-3,
Okay.
we realized the potential that actually we can help teachers express their vision for learning. So we shouldn't
Okay.
just keep GPT-3 for free for ourselves and use it for to generate our content. We should everyone
Hmm.
express their vision and create their own
Yeah.
content.
I feel like so you shared about GPT-3, about Linguido and your mission, but can you introduce before getting further into Linguido, um, what is GPT-3? How does it work? And yeah, getting a little bit more about in the detail of GPT-3 for the people who are listening.
Absolutely, absolutely. So GPT-3 is a big deal. That's for
All
sure.
right, that's being said.
It- it's a big deal because this is the largest AI model in the world. Maybe there are some bigger models now. I don't know. I saw some companies that are working on it. But basically, this is the largest AI model in the world that
Hmm.
deals with language. So it's able to generate articles on its own. It's able to generate grammatical exercises. It's able to chat with you. It's super smart. It's super
All right.
smart, and it has a lot of capabilities when it comes to human language.
All right. And so you're building an application on GPT-3. So do you have like a special contact with OpenAI? Because I know that the OpenAI APIs are like using their models to build applications. It's very hard to get access. And if I'm not wrong, you're one of the first startups to have access to these models to build an application. So, how did that happen? Can you share more about the process?
Yes, yes, yes. So OpenAI is the company behind GPT-3. Company initially co-founded by Elon Musk. That's the interesting part. And a company that also got funded from Microsoft with $1 billion.
Okay.
Um, Very interesting company. So we are collaborating with them as they are the provider of GPT-3,
Hmm.
and they are very helpful when it comes to building application. Like they offer support for startups working with them. Well, we connect the power to build some great products. So it's let me underline that credits to OpenAI for their work, like the way they collaborate with startups. Yes, it's right that access to GPT-3 wasn't public. It's public now, but it wasn't always this way.
Hmm.
Initially, initially that was a very hard part. Initially, I applied 3 times, and 3 times I had no response
All right.
to get access. So first time when GPT-3 was released, then after some time, and then when I was doing my research,
Yeah.
whether language models can automatically generate language materials, I was rejected as well. So
Wow.
then finally we got we got lucky because we have a stake we have a shareholder,
Okay.
Dimium Capital, that is a startup incubator.
All right.
And I remember once when we were talking, I told them that I'm doing a research to use AI for generation of the content, and I was using GPT-2 at the time,
Hmm.
and I knew that whatever I'm gonna do, it's gonna be worse than whatever is gonna be built on GPT-3. So
Hmm.
it was crucial, like to get access to GPT-3 and like continue the research on a bigger model, not
Yeah.
just the technology that was already old. Yeah,
All right.
so their CPO from Dimium helped us. He reached out to CTO of OpenAI, and a few days later we can access.
Okay, so you got it through like your research. You used the research way. I feel like a lot of people can get access to, like DALI, for example, which is another model, and it's quite hard to get access to it. But using the thesis excuse or like the research or like PhD or whatever always helps get access to those models. So you're
Yes,
working with GPT-3, right? But you're building your own application, meaning that you're not only using GPT-3 as a service, but you're implementing the model into your application um, to deliver to teachers material. I think we'll get more into the project of your company after. But can you share a little bit about how is it working with GPT-3 and what challenges you can face regarding working with the model and building an application around it?
absolutely, absolutely. Just to refer to what you just said at the beginning,
Yeah.
we also got access to DALI. So
Oh, all right,
we're very,
nice.
very fortunate.
Perfect.
Yeah, but about GPT-3, it's just wonderful to work with, really, because
Yeah,
you can get constantly surprised by like, wow, that story it generated was really good, or like, wow, it can even do it this way, and you're constantly surprised like how smart it is.
yeah,
Like, speaking of challenges, speaking of challenges, the biggest challenge I think that we faced was that AI is not an English teacher.
oh yeah, okay,
Therefore, you may have some issues like when you tell AI to generate grammar exercises like
mm,
present simple,
yeah,
and like you tell him to show whether this one is true or false,
yeah,
whether it should be let or let's.
mm-hmm,
It may struggle. It may struggle. So a big part of our research was to how to make sure that AI will answer correctly.
mm,
So so we've decided after all we've decided that well maybe GPT-3 is not enough. Maybe we should
mm-hmm,
also build additional layers like some
yeah,
validation layers or team it up with other AI model that will validate or do some transformation. So yeah, so that was definitely one of the big challenges. And constantly, like OpenAI improves quality of their models, uh, including GPT-3, and yeah, well, so it's all getting better. But like improving the quality, improving the accuracy, that is still big challenge.
all right,
And
I understand.
you also asked about surprises. I think the biggest surprise that we had
Yeah,
was that we taught AI how to lie because
okay,
the thing is that AI is tends to be correct naturally,
yes,
but we've built a tool to generate true false statements. Like
all
you
right,
have a text and you have to say like 5 sentences like Alan has a dog, true
all
or
right,
false, based on the
yeah,
text.
yes,
So we made AI to generate false statements, and that was a big breakthrough. Like, oh wow,
all right,
like it can say something that wasn't in the text and even mark it as false.
all right. Can you share a little bit more about how did you thought of this and how did you implement it, or is it confidentiality regarding
Well,
this?
I can tell like not in a very big detail,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
like well, it's hard to recall right now because I worked on
Oh,
that
no worries,
some
no
time ago.
worries.
Yeah, so for true false, I think there was a lot of prompt engineering. I think there was also a validation layer and
Uh-huh.
some NLP layer. Like when you receive the text from AI model,
Yeah,
you still have to make sure that the answer is right.
yes,
So like for example, OpenAI has its content filter where it checks like whether the response contains any words that shouldn't be there. Like you can't release the text from model which treats about things like I don't know sexual stuff.
yeah,
So they have a content filter, and we also implement this content filter.
okay.
And in such a way, we built our own content filter, but like
All right.
not for harmful stuff because
Yeah,
OpenAI already does that. But content filter to make sure that AI goes in the direction we want it to go.
okay. That's super interesting. Thanks for sharing, and I think it's quite clear also. Okay, so we've learned a bit more about you working around GPT-3, how you're implementing tools, putting layers, using this model, and through code and through machine learning engineering, making great tools to help the education in general. So I feel like it's a wonderful mission. And
Thank
can you share a little bit more about what you've already built with your startup, with your coworkers? At what stage is your company today? What do you have? What projects do you have?
Linguido is currently on the stage where we onboard the first customers. We onboard the first customers, and we have a big moment ahead of us because
Mm.
Linguido got selected as one of the featured startups for Web Summit, the
All
biggest
right.
tech event at least in Europe. I don't know if in the whole world. Maybe TechCrunch is bigger, but like
Mm-hmm.
Web Summit is definitely one of the biggest in the world.
Mm.
So that's a great privilege to be there, and we're definitely gonna show all we got there on the beginning of November in Lisbon.
Mm.
But as for the product, what we have, uh, Linguido Linguido has its organizational form. Like you can add your students, add your classes. You can
Mm.
have a role of director, of teacher. You
Mm.
can add your knowledge base. So there's a lot of great stuff for teachers and for language schools to help them manage the educational content they have. But let's put it aside because speaking of AI, we offer a tab full of magic called materials, and there we
Mm.
have 10 content generation tools. Like I'm not sure if I remember, I'll be able to to say all of them. Uh,
Yeah.
let me try. Let me try. So first of all, we do flashcards generation. You type the
All right.
topic and you get the flashcards about this given topic.
Oh.
Then you have reading generation, which is actually a simple thing because it's just text generation,
Yes.
where you can generate the reading about the topic you've given. Uh, but then also comes the great magic because this reading within our platform also has additional component that you can just click the word or select the sentence and you'll get the translation of it with the button to add to your flashcards if that's something new to you and
All
our team.
right.
So
Okay.
after the generation of that, teachers also have a lot of things to do with that.
Okay.
Going back to AI, so we do let me like for like we do two different algorithms, two different
Mm-hmm.
kinds of algorithms. One is natural language generation, and
Okay.
second is natural language understanding.
Okay.
So as for generation, these two were examples, and we also have dialogues generation. We also have questions generation, true false thesis generation,
Mm.
grammar exercises generation, personalized sentences generation. So there are a lot of tools for generating content. Uh, but let me also tell you about the other side, which is pretty exciting because I think so far we've talked mostly about GPT-3, but the other two algorithms we have, they are from natural language understanding, and they are also
Mm.
very interesting because
Okay.
I think that's where we're doing some breakthroughs. Uh, we have tools for text analysis where you can detect what are the grammar tenses used in the
Mm-hmm.
text,
Okay.
and you can measure uh, language level of your text. Meaning,
All
like
right.
certain words will be A1, which is the lowest level for language learners. Certain words
Yes.
will be C1, which is well almost like native, the most advanced level.
All
And
right.
and using our tool, teachers can just drop the text and learn what is the language level of each particular word and like what is the statistics of the words in given text.
All
Uh,
right. So I understand that to do so, you have like a kind of a ponderation, and this ponderation assign like each word is in a category or on in another. So yeah, I feel like so that, I mean, I understand that there are complex algorithms behind that took time to develop,
mhm.
but so did you kind of assign a note to a word, and like have big dictionaries of word ponderations, and you do the average to determine the statistic of like give a C1 to a text, or can you share more about what is behind this?
Yes, 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 absolutely. So, so actually, currently, it's more rule based as we're getting the first data, getting the first feedback.
Yes.
But we've already like did the research on how it's supposed to work and what are the biggest problems.
Hmm.
So uh, to not like currently, yes, we use dictionary. We use dictionary of words and language level. But let me tell you what are the problems that should be solved, and like that is something that will be a big innovation, and we're keen to work on that. But like we leave it for the next part. Like after we solve some of the current problems.
Hmm.
Uh, yes, for like to have truly working this tool, you need to have a neural network that is able to recognize everything the right way. Why? Because because neural networks understand context,
Hmm.
and dictionaries, well, they don't. They just understand words.
Yes.
Uh, so so with words, like one of the problems that we could see from the very beginning is that in can be A1 or in can be C1 depending on the context.
Hmm.
Like in certain contexts,
Yeah.
in will be like in a more difficult used in a more difficult sentence,
Yeah.
and that would be C1.
Right.
So to like make an algorithm that understands it all, we have to use neural network and train it on data, like showing, hey, so this is an example of in at A1 level, and these are
Hmm.
examples for in at C1 level.
Hmm.
And this is just the beginning of the problems, because there
Okay.
are also things like phrasal verbs, and they're like the worst are words with the word words with the word something in it,
Hmm.
like getting through something.
Okay.
So something can be anything. Something can be anything. And while when you have, like I said, rule based, you can say that, all right, for instead of something, there can be anything, and
Hmm.
that would be an easy catch. But for neural network, well, we have to show that there has to be many things. So like
Yes.
getting through getting through the accident, getting through emergency, getting through the heartbreak, getting through many things to show it examples how this word should be encoded. If that
Okay, I
makes sense.
understand. Yeah, yeah. So it's way more complicated than just attributing a node to a word. It goes through neural networks, and then, as you've mentioned, you have a lot more problems that comes after that. So you have different techniques to be able to put a word in its context, and it feels like, to me, correct me if I'm wrong, that there are a lot of training to get a good understanding of how the words are correlated into with each other and in the context.
Yes, 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 absolutely.
Okay, okay, awesome. I feel like we're running out of time. I would like to keep talking like for hours like that, but to maintain
Pleasure's
the
all
time of
mine.
the podcast, we surely will invite you again as you have way a lot more to say. I would like to finish with three questions. So before that, do you have any message that you would like to share regarding your company and? Yeah, to the listeners, do you have any message regarding AI, your company, your vision?
Yes, absolutely. So we are just making first steps in implementing big language models into language learning. And imagine what would happen if we had a chance to work on that for like the next 10 years. Like how any technology can change within the
Hmm.
time frame of 10 years. So we can change the world this way. We can use AI to create fully personalized courses on its own. and like significantly, like by continuing to work with language schools and teachers, uh, better understand their needs, better understand the problems they're facing. We could implement AI even in more areas. So we are here on an important mission, and my message is help us spread the word, help us spread the idea. Uh, we're doing we're working on great stuff here, and we want people to be excited about it. So we're gonna be soon on the web summit. Tell your friends about Linguido that it's gonna be on web summit, and uh,
That's
and yeah, and help us spread the word so that we could change the world together.
That's awesome. A great educational project. Help education, a big matter to me. So yeah, I really like the vision.
Thank
Just
you.
really quickly, I have three following up questions regarding your learning recommendations of people to
hmm
come on the podcast. So how do you keep learning and be curious shortly?
Um, I think like while working on it, it's hard not to be. But there are also great resources. Like I can recommend 2 minutes podcasts on YouTube. It's like when you get advanced in the field, you start like less watching how someone codes something and more reading research papers. So this guy there, he explains research papers in a simple manner.
All right.
Great resource. And also
So,
love watching Tech with Team for more advanced
okay.
Python concepts.
All right. So the first one, what was the name of the first one?
2 minute papers.
Okay. And the second one that you said?
Tech with Team.
Okay, awesome. Oh yeah, I think I've seen him multiple times.
Uh,
Do you have anything that you want to share that helped you during your AI journey? I feel like the two recommendations before could answer these questions, but maybe you have a book or something else or
yes, so I would say like for people pursuing their career in AI, do your own project. Do your own project. Take part in competitions on Kaggle. But do your own project. Like
yeah,
start working on something and work on it for some time. You'll learn a lot rather than like
yeah.
one time gig. If you keep working on something for 3 months, that is gonna be significantly bigger and you will have much more meaningful insights.
Yeah, I feel like that's a great recommendation. I really like
Thank
data
you.
camp
Oh
to
yeah, that's
learn
a
and
great tool.
code while learning and doing competitions too. Last but not least, we've come to an end. Do you have two people that you would recommend to come on this podcast?
Yes. So first person that comes to my mind is my current manager at Reckitt. It's Sergey Tkachuk, who's been in the
Okay,
field for many years now and is very knowledgeable of the field.
awesome.
And second person that comes to my mind is my colleague from Reckitt, who's been working with me on one project, Michał Gavriluk. Uh, he's very knowledgeable senior data scientist. Like it's very intriguing to see like how you can apply data science concepts to like take your own decisions and
Hmm.
like for the I could I'm an ML guy, ML and LP guy. So I spent some time in data science, but not that much. And like Michał, he could just use, like things like confusion matrix to take some decision. I think it's great. Like he can definitely share some data science concepts that can help with taking important decisions.
Awesome. Well, thanks a lot, Alan, to came on to game sharing your vision and your goals on this podcast. I wish you the best. Sorry for the web summit, and I'm looking forward to see how this goes.
Thank you very much, Thomas. Pleasure's all mine.
Bye.
Bye.
Thanks. Bye.